What's going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we're going to take a look at Asmus Collectibles Twilight Witch King, and you can order this figure at bigbadtoystore.com. Just click the link down below. Now, I was on the fence about this figure, didn't like the price, mostly the character. I wasn't, they appeared, I think, just for a few minutes on the movie, and then they reappeared again, I believe, on The Hobbit, but that's pretty much about it. And I felt like 200 was a bit too much, but then again, they went on sale on Asmus Collectibles, and you can see this is numbered as well, but 101 out of 15. Why is this one always 101? This is only 600, I believe. But yeah, maybe that's just a lucky number for me. I don't know. If my Aragorn is 101 again, something's going on. As far as this figures, you can see the accessories is a bit on the lighter side. This is a unique figure, though. In terms that I kind of wanted to buy the Mouth of Sauron for this, because they're different. They're like horror type, but not really. So, and Asmus is really good when they don't have to replicate a human face or a face sculpt, because they're pretty good. Their Grishnak is pretty good. So any monsters that they create, Gothmog was good as well. So that's why I kind of want to get this. And as you can see, they have several hands, different hands in here that kind of reminds me of the Saruman hands, but obviously with a different paint application, more of a greenish white sort of thing. And as you can see here, this is a bit of a different pose of the hands right here. So the fingers are kind of pinching in, sort of they're trying to get that ring out of Frodo. I don't know if you guys remember that scene. I know it's been a while from the Fellowship, when Frodo put the ring on, and they saw Frodo and he was kind of like reaching for that ring. So it kind of replicates that, which is pretty cool. And also to see the fingers are kind of far apart, so you can easily, they're not sticking together, so you can easily put the ring on one of those fingers. He does also come with two blades. Basically, they're die cast. One is this long sword. I don't even know what it's called. I should have researched first. But yeah, the handle is really skinny, so there's a dedicated hand for any swords or weapon that you want him to hold. But since the handle is really skinny, you gotta push it all the way in. But as you can see here, the details are just phenomenal as well. You can see the weathering. This is all die cast, by the way, so when it comes to the feel of it, it has some weight, but it's not too heavy to a point where you're gonna be concerned whether your figure can sustain the pose or not. I think mine is in a pretty dynamic pose, and the top kind of, I believe it kind of replicates the crown that they do have. But it's nice. And then he comes with the shorter sword. I don't know if you can classify this as a dagger, I don't know. But yeah, if my camera's just gonna focus, then yep, this is die cast as well. You can see there's some weathering on the tip right there that it looks like kind of rusted metal. Maybe it is really rusted, I don't know, since this is die cast. But yeah, it adds to the effect. And it's, speaking of weathering, I'm gonna show you guys after the sword, the crown, which is supposed to be weathered, but it's not. It's just flat black, but it's die cast. And here comes the standard stand that they have included all these years, and that is the crown, and it's die cast. Mine is kind of bending too. Those tips are bending. You can put them back to place, but but yeah, it's just flat black. It's a bit disappointing. They told us on Facebook that you can actually weather this by getting a sandpaper and kind of scratching it off, revealing some of the metals inside. So I might do that one of these days. And then on the other hand, I almost forgot that it came with a ring, because this ring was included underneath the crown when you were when you open the packaging. So I almost just forgot about it, or at least I checked. And as you can see, the ring is made out of plastic, but there's a cut at the bottom, so you can easily just stretch it out and put it on any ring. Now, as far as the figure itself, it looks, like I said, it looks great. It's a unique looking figure. Not a big fan of how they cut this fabric it looks too industrialized for me, and I know there's a machine that cuts this, not human being, but it looks like it's been cut by a 4-year-old by a scissor. And I want to see some weathering on it. These are expensive collectibles, and I love the fabric that they use. I like those laces. There's a lot of details on the outfit. However, yeah, those cuts, and you'll see it from the back. It's more prominent on the back. And this was a problem with Nazgul as well. With Nazgul, the bigger problem was the fabric that they use is a bit stiff. And this one is more of a free-flowing fabric, kind of soft, but you can see all those, tattered edges. I wish they were a little bit more rough instead of just sharp cuts, and I totally understand why, but at the same time they are charging $200 for this. So a little weather, because like when they're one or two pieces here and there, but when you put them on a bunch like this, it just looks kind of funny, kind of like a kid's paper that somebody just started going wild with a scissor. But other than that, the outfit is pretty good. It's loose. It doesn't feel like you're gonna break any part of it. The detailing inside, even inside of the sleeves, has some details on it. But yeah, those edges, just especially with the fabric, how it kind of looks like a paper. And yeah, even those edges right there, they're so sharp in my opinion that it just doesn't look realistic. Just my thought. I don't know what you guys think. You put it on the comments down below, or if you have any techniques that you want to share and kind of like roughing those edges out, let me know in the comments. And as far as the head sculpt, so it is rooted hair. Don't worry about that hairline, because I know it's not pleasant to the eyes, but you're gonna put this crown anyway. Be careful of those sharp edges, so make sure that they don't touch any part of the head sculpt, because once you push this down, the head sculpt is rubber, so you might peel some paint or whatever, and ideally you want the hair. So this is I hate messing around with hair, man. I feel like I'm playing with dolls, and the hair is already messed up all over the place. But at the same time, this is a Twilight Witch King, which I don't really need to doll him up real good. So him being a little messy would do just okay. But as you can see, what's on the back of his neck, man? I didn't even recognize that. Is that a cut or something? Yeah, it looks like it's a cut from the back. Yeah, I mean, luckily Asmus didn't have to follow a frame here where, I mean, I'm sure they did. They tried to follow the face sculpt, but we can't really compare this too much compared to the Aragorn, so we can't complain. But like I said, they are pretty good when it's non-human face sculpts. So this is technically human, but as you know, it's a bit ghostly in here. So I mean, up close you can't see his eyes, but it's just black. But I think it looks good. I don't know. I'm not paying attention to the details too much of this Twilight Witch King, but for me it looks pretty good. To a point where in the display he stands out, man, because how he looks. Maybe I'll get Mouth of Sauron, maybe, because that's pretty cheap as well for $144. Most third parties even more expensive than the Mouth of Sauron. So most third party that I bought are like 50% of them are more expensive, at least $150. So this guy right here has a good range of movement. So I saw the body outside. You can put his arms forward. There's no restriction whatsoever with his outfit. It is all fabric, so you can just pose him away. Although I don't see why you would pose him in more dynamic pose. It's not like he's Spider-Man or anything, but it's nice to know that if you wanted to, it's there. You can see you can bend the elbows up to that point. You can raise the arm forward. Like the head is connected with the neck. They should have done that with Elrond, and they did it here. Yeah, okay. And he can put him on a split position if you really want to, you know, spread his arms, no problems there whatsoever. There's you know, swivel on the waist area, just no ankle articulation because the boot is one piece. Now standing wise next to Saruman there, it looks pretty good. And Frodo obviously is smaller, and he's leaning towards him because he doesn't have a stand, and you know, Frodo can't stand on his own. His feet is just too hairy. But yeah, it looks good either way. I'm kind of like leaning on displaying him with Saruman, and here he is with Frodo trying to get that ring. You know, you see that pose right here. Even though it's die cast, you can see the weight of the sword is not pulling his arm down. So I think that's pretty cool. And Frodo, you know, just kind of backing up. That's the scene that I remembered from the first film. Looks nice. And there you go, guys. Twilight Witch King from Asmus Collectibles. Like I said, if you are interested in this figure, head over to bigbadtoystore.com. You know, the link is on the description. Unique figure, looks good, cheaper than Hot Toys. You know, at $200, or I think at Big Bad it's $190. It's not bad. It's like $50 less than a typical Hot Toys figure. It's not the most vital part in my Lord of the Rings collection. Actually, he could be gone if, you know, if he's not that important. You can see that's, but he's unique in a sense that I just want to get something that's out there, you know, like a villain of some sort. So I purchased him. Pretty happy about it, but if it comes down to it, he's one of the first who would leave my collection. Do I recommend the figure? If you can get it for cheap, 180 is not, 190 is not too bad. But I don't know. Like I said, he's not a vital character. For hardcore Lord of the Rings fan, you know, I see it. He's unique enough. So I would say go ahead. Again, if you change your mind later on, then I'm pretty sure you can move this because you bought him pretty cheap. So, you know, you might not sell him for $300 down the line, but you never know. I just sold my Nazgul and the horse for $550. So no one wants to buy that back then. So you never know, man. You never know. So thank you for watching, guys. So hopefully this review helped you out in deciding whether you want to pick this figure up or not. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. And again, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next review.